This is Gangrel, the Vampire Warrior, and you're fanging and banging with Monty and the Pharaoh.
If you're injured, is to grow up and be a man. Come on.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Monty and the Pharaoh, Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast on a special Sunday edition. And to my right is none other than the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh.
Good morning.
And on the couch to my left is none other than pro wrestling superstar, pro wrestling great, pro wrestling icon, WWE, WCCW, WCW, whatever. The list is so long, I'd use up the whole show to just discuss that. Yeah. None other than Billy Jack Haynes. Yeah. Mr. Haynes, how are you, sir? Great to have you.
Thank you, man.
So, Billy, before we start, speaking for myself and the Pharaoh, we want to thank you for putting us on the map. Your last time you were here, the response to your interview and your interview style, overwhelming, and it put us on the map. So thank you, sir, so much.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well,
you've done it again.
Well,
you weren't even aware.
And you know it.
Wasn't.
You know it now. So thank you so very much.
And also thank you for sucking it up. And I know you had a recent procedure. Thank you for coming down here.
Yeah, I ended up in ICU and a surgery, and we won't get into it, but I made a commitment, and I followed through with it.
You're the man.
You got to be a man of your word.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, that you certainly are.
Yep.
So, I want to hit a little wrestling news before we get into a few other things. Ashley Massaro, former WWE diva, recently passed away via suicide.
39.
Wonder if you have any thoughts on that, sir.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on it, actually. First of all, I knew Ashley. Ashley was on the lawsuit with Konstantin Kairos. Kairos and I started this lawsuit in 2014. By the way, a lot of people don't even know that. And I've got almost 50 pro wrestlers on the lawsuit, on the class action. And the lawsuit is still very much alive. Vince, like fake news, likes to bullshit and say it's all over with. Well, it's a long way from being over because it's in the Court of Appeals, and mine may be going to the Supreme Court. So Ashley's was very much alive, and she had a 15-page affidavit that Vince did not want exposed, and now it was exposed about her being raped over in the Middle East.
Can you talk about that a little bit, about the rape?
This is with the military incident?
With the military incident, of course, Vince McMahon caring so much about his wrestlers, of course, wanted to sweep it under the rug like the piece of shit that he is.
Okay.
And I knew about it. I talked to Ashley actually at WrestleCon, and she seemed normal to me. We talked it wasn't long, maybe 5 minutes, and we talked a little bit about the case, and she was really happy, and she really liked Konstantin Kairos, the attorney, who always gets slammed by Vince as being no good piece of shit, and all he does is stand up for the wrestlers and for unionization and for the rights of the professional wrestlers, because we don't have any rights. We're independent contractors, but we have to sign exclusive contracts. He pays for all of our airfare. We went over this last time. We're not independent contractors. End of story. And actually, I was so saddened by it. I lost a lot of tears with it, because she was such a, she's only like 5'4", 115.
Do you think that she was possibly victimized by scare tactics from the company regarding the lawsuit?
Well,
is that part of Vince's MO, to intimidate and frighten people who have worked for him if they threaten legal action? Tough one.
It's a tough call, but here's what I didn't like about the situation, you guys, was the fact that everybody said, oh, there was nothing, it wasn't serious, it was basically they found her dead, and there was nothing to it, there was nothing criminal about it whatsoever, they just found her dead. And they left it like that for 4 or 5 days. And we knew the truth, that she hung herself. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, when you hang yourself, how is that? I just don't know. There's got to be, they look into it legally, because she could have been murdered. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's only 115 pounds, and she very possibly could have hung herself. But when you say they put it out like she overdosed on pills or whatever. That's what I took.
Well, they kind of put out nothing, right? They kind of like she was found dead or
like you
not
said,
responsive.
There was a silent period
on the
for
way,
a few
right,
days.
yeah.
I do recall there being a silent period, and then it was suddenly that she had hung herself.
Billy, have you ever gotten to that level where you ever thought about suicide?
Oy.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually attempted. I took 40 Xanax.
So you did try something at one point. Okay.
I should have died, but there was a sergeant, I forgot what the guy's name, Corporal Keaton Coffey. When I was at the cemetery, I laid down to my mother and father's grave, and I took 40 Xanax and expected to die there. I wanted to go say goodbye to my uncle, and this newspaper came in, and this guy named Corporal Keaton Coffey died in Afghanistan from Oregon. And I said, what am I doing trying to kill myself? So I self-induced vomit, and I was in critical condition for 4 days. I mean, I don't know how I pulled through that. But yeah, I have tried it. I should be dead right now, actually.
What makes someone get to that level, in your opinion?
I think it's depression. I think it has probably a little bit to do with head trauma. Who knows? The facts aren't out there yet. But
what makes someone get out of that state of mind? I mean, you obviously have escaped from that place. You said you were there once, but you're not there right now. What makes somebody, in your opinion, escape a deep depression? What can help to pull you out of it?
You know, you have to suck it up and realize that there's a lot more people worse off than you, and it's a lot easier. Like I've been my entire life. Since 4 years old, I've been a fighter. You know, my whole life. So. I think I realized I had to suck it up or die, so I sucked it up.
Well, let's get to a happier note. Well, not really a happier note. Recently, I guess maybe 2 months ago, we caught we're in this radio broadcasting, television broadcasting deal, and one of the top dogs is Hannibal from Canada, former WWE enhancement talent, I guess, and he does pretty well. And I guess he caught you at one of the wrestling events, and
fairly recently.
Yeah, the initial interview, well, you pretty much popped him for being like the top dog, and then the interview goes south. What happened?
The truth to the matter is this: Terry Funk is a really good friend of mine.
Okay. And
it was been like 6, 7, 8 years ago. I seen a video of Hannibal potatoing Terry Funk and crushing in the side of his face and almost rupturing his eardrum. He couldn't hear. And I talked to Terry about it, and I said, I'm gonna get this guy one day for you. I don't know when it's gonna be, but we're gonna meet face to face. And when I do, I said I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna bitch slap him just exactly like he did you, but I got a lot of power behind my pop, and so that's what I was going to do. And I called him out. The truth is, we were at a restaurant in New York, and we were sitting down, ESS Promotions and Eric Sims, and he came in with his crew. And so I seen him, and I pointed at him and said, could I talk to you outside? And he acted like he didn't know who I was. We probably didn't. And when I went outside, I told him I didn't like what he did to Terry Funk. And if you'd like to try and do that to me, any time, any place, you name it. And he said, man, I'm doing the interview tomorrow. What, you want to do something about it? We'll do something there. That's how it started.
Okay.
So he said, yeah, we talked before. We did, but that's what the conversation was. He spun it on his show to make it look like he was this Mr. Superhero, which he wasn't. He was actually a superhero piece of shit, is what he was.
Did you feel blindsided? Because that's how it looked to the viewer. That you were a little blindsided there.
Well, the interview, then when he finally came by at my table, and he interviewed me. He started out okay. I put him over really good.
Yeah.
And
and by the way, you put him over us.
Yeah, you did.
You hurt us. We were hurt.
Oh yeah, we were all jealous and stuff. We were like, "What's going on here? He forgot about Monty and the Pharaoh already." Outrage!
No,
Outrage!
You guys
but then you showed up today,
me.
and you brought me an orange juice, so it's all good. You know, I think. Is it all good?
Yeah, I guess.
We're still a little jealous, though, right?
Yeah, a little jealous.
Okay, so the interview is going okay so far. You've put him over a little bit, and
okay, put him over a little bit, and then he brought up my wife. You know, why he did that, I have no idea.
Okay.
Stone Cold Steve Austin was married to my ex-wife, and my ex-wife has a book out called Through the Shattered Glass. Okay. I really hope a lot of people go out and buy that book because I read it, and she put me over in the book. I mean, I've never done nothing but try to help her get her visa so she could stay here. She met Stone Cold Steve Austin. They had two or three beautiful daughters together. Okay. And she took a lot of abuse off Steve Austin, and so has a lot of women. So 2015, I called his ass out to see if he'd want to fight me in that UFC 1 minute round, 1 minute rest to a finish.
In a Texas temper match.
Right.
What do you think?
But he never even contacted me. You know, he's got probably 40 million, so he doesn't need the money. But I'll say it again while on your show. You know, as far as I'm concerned, Steve Austin's a woman-beaten piece of shit, and that's just the way I look at it. Anybody who hits a woman's insecure, so he has some kind of shortcomings in life.
Have you ever talked to your ex-wife about it?
Yeah, I did talk to Jean once. She didn't want to go there, so I didn't want to push it. And she's such a beautiful person and sensitive person, and she's from England, so I just let it go.
Is she civil with Steve nowadays? I mean, I don't know if you would even know. I'm just curious as to what a take is on him currently.
I don't.
Enough to write a book about.
Kids, right? They have kids, so I imagine they have to be.
Yeah.
But they are divorced.
Let's get this back to Hannibal. Let's bring it back.
Yeah.
So you begin this interview. It starts off pretty
and then he starts to get
innocent,
personal,
right?
Obviously.
Right. So go ahead, take it from there.
So he's getting personal at this point.
Well, he knows I have hepatitis C, and he got cured of hepatitis C. I guess with what he claims is Abdul the butcher had juiced him or cut him up and gave him hepatitis C.
Dirty fork.
With a dirty fork.
Gotcha.
Whether that's true or not, who knows? But it might be. But he did have hepatitis C. He went through the 90-day period you have to go. It's called epiclusa, and he's cured. Well, then this is kind of how ignorant he is. He makes a statement to me that he beat the shit out of me, but he doesn't want my blood on him because he just got over hepatitis C. And he goes, now he hates my guts on his radio show, he says, or his podcast, whatever it is. 100,000, he gets 100,000 views or whatever.
Yep.
And so now, let me show you what I got. I brought it all the way from Oregon to show you. I just got the $90,000 to be treated for hepatitis C.
Can you put it up to the camera, Jim? Is that all right?
It's
put it right to the camera. People can see it.
Do it on your desk right here.
Okay.
Right here?
Yeah, we can do it right here if you don't mind.
It's called epiclusa.
Does that look okay?
The total cost is $90,000. It's guaranteed to get rid of hepatitis C. So now I won't have hepatitis C. And so me being a former sparring partner, like I told you, Jerry Quarry and Ken Norton and Ron Lyle and guys like that, these were the best in the world. And they used to, you kick your ass. That's how I got my ass kicked. That's how you learn. Well, this guy here is all mouth. So now he's supposed to beat me up. He wants to bloody me up and all this stuff, but he's afraid of hepatitis C. Now I'm cured. So I'm challenging him right now on your show to a 1 minute, one round, one rest, and to a finish. I don't care how long it goes. And I just want to beat the living fuck out of this guy. And I know it sounds violent and so forth, but the way he put me down, my wife down, everything, and to me, He ruined a show in Tampa, Florida. I was supposed to be on for a very good appearance fee. He blurped it all out. I don't know if you caught that on the internet.
No. Go ahead. Tell that story real quick.
Well, he says Billy Jack will be appearing at beep 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 like that. He blurped it on himself.
Oh.
So fuck you, Hannibal. He's got to take the fighter. He's going to look like chicken shit in front of his 100,000 viewers that he has. And I'm 66. He's 36. I'm in fantastic shape. And last time I talked to you about the aortic aneurysm, it was a mistake.
Wow.
I had the aortic aneurysm, but it has not grown at all.
That's great.
So
Congratulations.
I passed the physical, and so I'm ready to go, man.
So Hannibal, you hear it. Billy Jack making a challenge on Monty and the Pharaoh.
Nice.
You know, it's you got time to accept, my friend.
RSVP.
I mean, the man's here. RSVP. Monty the Pharaoh. www.montythepharaoh.com.
Hello.
Billy Jack's waiting for you, sir.
Yeah.
He's awaiting your answer.
Ring-a-ling-a-ling. Hello.
Well, he's a Canadian too now.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be a gold medalist or whatever in the Olympics.
Well, he's a tough dude.
He's a
From
tough
what I
guy.
understand.
6'4",
Absolutely.
290,
He's
and
a
he's
big
tough.
man.
Big dude.
But what he done
is.
to Terry Funk, I'm going to do 10 times to him
Oui.
over the period of 1 month. I'm just going to carry. I'm going to beat him so bad that he'll lay down for the 10 count.
Any weapons? Or is this just... We going hardcore? Or what
UFC gloves.
Nice.
It's and I talked to
Basic
Rob Feinstein.
brutalization.
You know Rob Feinstein?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, he said that he would try and help put it together in Philadelphia.
Nice.
He's really interested. We talked yesterday and did a little video on it.
Gotcha.
So definitely want to work with you guys. You guys are basically, in my opinion, number one.
Look at that. Ah, thank you, Mr. Haynes. That means a lot to us.
Well, it means a lot to me too because you guys have done nothing but treat me with respect, and I appreciate
Well,
it.
you do. You deserve respect, sir.
Yes, you do, sir.
That's not what we're all about. You've influenced a lot of people's lives.
He's loved you since we were kids, but that's a whole other story.
You've admitted to your shortcomings,
Yeah.
and you've tried to correct it, just
Real.
like any human being has shortcomings, and there's nothing but respect from us for that. So Hannibal, the challenge there, my friend. Time to step it up, my friend.
Roll it over, Beethoven.
The man is waiting.
You remember David Tua?
Yes.
You
Yep.
know,
The boxer. Yeah.
This is what I was taught by Ed Milberger and Tommy Sullivan and guys like that and Jerry Quarry. I have a tremendous left hook, and it's just it's a weapon David Tua had, and it's lethal.
So you sparred with Ken Norton though?
Oh yeah, in California.
So can I? Do you take a little credit for him taking one over Muhammad Ali?
I honestly thought that he beat Muhammad Ali in I think it was '73 when they first fought, very convincingly.
Yes.
And then I thought he won all 3 fights. That's just my
Yankee
opinion.
Stadium. Yeah. You've obviously worked with a lot of boxers. I have to ask, any particular one hit the hardest that we would know? Who hit you the hardest?
Jerry Quarry.
Okay.
And Ron Lau.
Okay.
In Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
What
does Billy Jack think of Mike Tyson, since we're talking boxing?
Love him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Mike has been a real asset to the business. If he would have stayed with Kevin Rooney,
yeah,
he would have been invincible. He would have been untouchable.
He was invincible.
But then you got around. Anytime you get around, Don King has destroyed many black heavyweights, and you can go on down the line. That's not a racist comment.
Right.
It's truth.
Mm-hmm.
And Pinklin Thomas, John Tate.
Thomas.
The list goes on and on and on with Don King, and he's a multi-millionaire, and these guys here ended up dying. I was good friends with John Tate, by the way, out of Tennessee, Knoxville.
Well, we're speaking in the green room. We had Scott Hall in yesterday.
Yeah.
Scott gave a terrific interview.
Yeah.
But one thing I came out of that interview is Scott's about Scott. That was
fair enough.
My opinion. Right?
Fair enough.
So, any thoughts on Scott Hall?
Yeah, I was always going to let this slide, but there's I'm going to be getting married here pretty soon, and this.
Congratulations!
Nice.
Yeah, after since 1984, I've known this woman, and she's just a beautiful.
So you've reasoned it out after 35 years.
Yeah.
No one can say you didn't take your time with this.
Yeah.
You carefully pondered. No, good job. Excellent.
Wish I would have took my time.
Oh, you're hilarious. What, like Godzilla last night? He gave Godzilla 20 minutes. Get out of here.
All right, so Scott Hall.
You're saying?
Okay, Scott used to halcyon on girls and women.
Used
and,
to
young girls. Halcyon, put in a drink.
Oh, okay.
And
Roofie. So other words, roofie.
It's called
roofie.
roofies.
Yep.
It happened to me. I told you last time it happened to me in the WWF, and I can't swear on a stack of Bibles what happened to me, except that I had, I think I got circle jerked. You know?
Oh my God!
What? Was Pat Patterson by you?
Would you please?
Pat Patterson, Lord Alfred Hayes, Mel Phillips,
Lord Alfred Hayes?
Garvin. You want me to continue?
Go ahead.
I mean, my goodness. Oh my
Lord
God.
Alfred Hayes? I'm not going to sleep for a week now. Thanks. Oh my God!
And the sad thing is, most of these guys have passed away, but Pat hasn't. And anybody that doesn't know that Pat's, gay or likes young kids or whatever,
Hello?
he's in a different world.
What's the possibilities that Pat has your semen on a couple of jars on top of his cabinet? Mark Billy Jack Haynes.
Would you stop it? Oh my God!
I don't know, but his ex-boyfriend Terry Garvin liked my butt.
No, did he?
Because he stuck his finger, I told you, in my butt in the shower.
Wrecked him? Damn near killed
I
him.
told him, I said I would kill him if he ever done it again.
Was he like, just kidding? We're just kidding.
Well,
just boys being boys.
I guess he would give me the stinky finger test.
Billy Jack Payne. Wait a minute, duty finger.
But I just
Got
showered.
duty
finger.
So he was wrong.
What's going on here?
All right, so
Take the Hershey
Scott
Highway.
Scott Hall used to roofie the girls.
Yeah, and he
what's
roofied
going
the
on
girl
here?
I'm going to marry.
Really?
And I don't want to bring up her name, but
Please.
after I get rid of knockout
Hannibal.
this piece of shit Hannibal.
Looks like you got another
Scott,
match coming.
In fact,
Oy.
anybody, wrestlers for some reason, even Greg Valentine, I heard, hates me now because I beat up his friend Iron Mike Sharp. I'm 7-0 in the locker room fights, and that including Big John Studd,
Nice.
who I knocked out.
Wow.
And by the
really?
way, Lanny Poffo confirmed
He
you
loves you.
beating the shit out of
Yeah, he loves
Iron
you.
Mike
I'm not
Sharp.
trying to brag in any way, shape, or form. It's just been my whole life. I fought my entire life.
Billy, please tell us about Stud. I hate to. I want to hear this.
Okay, this was a match in I think it was '86 in Connecticut, and Paul Roma can tell you a little bit about it. Bundy and Stud wrestled Roma and I.
Okay.
And I was supposed to, get in a drop kick. Both were supposed to go off their feet, and I think Stud threw my feet to the side. Wasn't going to sell for me.
Okay.
And then afterwards we talked in the locker room. So I asked if I could talk to him. He sat down. And we got in an argument, and he said, "I'm 7 feet tall. I'll kick your ass." And Bundy was there, and so I bitch slapped him, and knocked him on his ass. He tried to get up. I did it again, and this time he stayed down.
Right.
Nice.
And the whole thing is he's passed away, and it sounds really kind of bad on my part for even bringing it up and saying it, but it is the truth. And
Well, I asked, so it's on me. Go on.
that's what I've done my whole life. And Mike Sharp, same way. The boys I love, but if they want to put a knife in my back,
Yeah.
let them do it. I'll always love the boys, but hey, I am a fighter, and that's all I've ever done. And Hannibal started this thing, and now Scott Hall, I've decided not to let him get away with it.
Scott Hall eats clean now.
Well, he may be clean. I don't know how many times he went to rehab. I see him the other day. And
12.
He gave me a big hug.
He said so.
What he didn't understand
said 12.
was I was ready to knock him out. I was
40
just
grand
close
a
to
pop.
knocking him out.
Really?
Yeah, and then I went to prison because I was in New York. So we got to do it the right way. So we'll see if he's got enough balls to climb in the ring. And then after that, what's the tall guy? His buddy
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash. And
Damn.
Jim's
anybody
cousin?
else. Even Brock Lesnar. I tried to help Brock
Lesnar?
Lesnar. Listen, I tried to help him with his stand-up because Cain Velasquez knocked him out in the first minute.
Yeah.
Because he's not a good stand-up fighter, and he'll take you down and ground and pound
Oh, sure.
you. Okay, but as far as standing up with fist, I would knock him out.
What's his weakness standing up? Is it footwork on Lesnar's
You-
part?
you- all you have to do is feint him. Every time you feint, he'll drop his hand.
He doesn't want to get hit.
Right.
And
I've
so
heard that.
he's used to just leg diving, you take you down, and
Right.
Ground and pound.
All right, so we got Hannibal you're going to take care of first. Then we got Scott Hall.
Good.
Yeah.
Then we're going to take care of Kevin Nash.
There might be some big money in it. So, hey,
why not?
Absolutely. And then
Rob
if we have
Feinstein
time, we'll
thinks
take
so.
care of Lesnar. Let's handle
Lesnar?
Hannibal first.
Let's
Let's
just go
start
one
with
at a time and
Hannibal.
see how it
Leave
goes.
Lesnar for last.
Listen, we didn't get to
See how serious it is.
well, let's see if they take your challenge. So
But
it's
fuck
out there,
Scott
boys.
Hall too, you know.
Oh,
Hey,
jeez.
And,
I'm good
Hey,
with that.
yo.
Fuck you, Scott Hall.
And
Good.
also
Oi.
fuck his friend, the tall, lanky guy, man.
Yeah, fuck
who,
that guy too.
He doesn't
he's
like
a,
anyone from what I've heard.
Right. Fuck him too because he's a buddy.
that.
The one
Pay
guy
for that.
I do
Going
like,
on
The
here?
owner will pay for that.
listen,
Hey,
the
no.
123 kid
Oi.
used to follow me around in Florida.
Okay.
And I love him. I mean, he's your buddy. But, I
X-Pac.
mean, I love
Yeah.
X-Pac. I never thought could make it. He was a lightning kid. He made it. That guy deserves more props than anybody in pro
I
wrestling
think he's underrated
history.
somewhat. Absolutely.
Because how'd the guy make it? At
Yeah, the little
165
guy.
pounds.
Yeah.
Skilled guy.
I'm very impressed with
Skilled.
what he pulled off.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us? Can you give us an Andre the Giant story? We didn't cover that last time you were here. Did you have any encounters with Andre?
I did.
Can you give us a story?
Yeah, I can. I can give you a real good one. We were in San Francisco, and he loved to play cribbage. And we played for $1 a point.
Can I ask what that is? I'm sorry. I've never heard that before.
Was you try and make 31 without going over it,
Okay.
and you get points for it. It's
Okay.
kind of hard to explain. I haven't played in a long time.
Gotcha. But Andre
it's
loved this game. Okay.
He loved the game, and we were playing $1 a point, and I was up about $200.
Oh,
you
he
know?
don't like you right now.
No.
Okay. Okay. Andre's supposed to win.
Yeah, like I'll take Andre on too. Yeah, right. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'll pass on
Yeah,
that.
I bet you will. Smart man.
But when I was winning, I tried to lose on purpose, and I would still win. Because
trying
I was
to
getting
lose.
sunburnt really bad
Andre's
in San
gonna kill
Francisco,
me.
and I had to wrestle at night. My back was just on fire. And so finally, I was trying to lose on purpose and still won. Finally, I said, Andre, look, just we'll call it square. He goes, no, no. And he slapped his hand down, you know, and he was drinking a
broke.
bottle of wine. He loved wine.
Oh,
You know,
sure.
Everybody knows that.
It's a shot glass for him.
And,
A bottle of wine.
A bottle of wine is a shot glass
It is.
for
Yeah.
him. And
47 beers.
yeah. And finally he got his money back. And
Did
so
you
I-
ever have to pay his tab at the bar? Did you ever get stuck with Andre's beer tab?
No,
Could
I
you
never
imagine
did.
how much Andre's beer tab would be?
So it's
I didn't hang out at bars much, you know. I just didn't
Right.
do it. It
It's
was
safe
too
to-
much, you know,
safe to say though that Andre liked you.
Yeah.
He was, you know, Andre was a great guy. Yeah. He loved the wrestlers. He lived for the wrestlers, man.
Who didn't Andre like?
There was a story I heard about Bad News Brown. He mentioned some kind of a racial remark at Dynamite.
Do you
Kid or
believe
something.
that story? The story is that Andre actually did not come out of the bus to fight Bad News Brown, who had pulled the bus over and called Andre out. Do you think that's true? That Andre would actually back down to Bad News Brown? That doesn't sound very consistent with Andre's.
I wasn't
Demeanor.
there. Like they say, a lot of guys say they weren't there when they seen me fight Iron Mike Sharp, right?
Okay.
But I mean, that was an absolute deadly fight. I mean, that was a fight to the finish. Vince put him on me to beat the shit out of me and get me out of the business, and it backfired on him.
I got an idea, Mike. We're gonna take out Billy Jack tonight.
That basically is what happened. What? But no, man, I just loved Andre, and I don't know if it's true or not because I wasn't there. So,
Right.
but I don't think Andre backed down to anybody. I'm pretty sure Andre would have kicked Bad News Brown's ass.
I would think so.
Oh yeah, his fists were twice the size of mine, and I got big hands, you know. So what are you gonna do? But Bad News Brown was one badass dude, man.
That's what I hear.
Good friend of mine.
How about Haku? We hear that he's the
Haku?
toughest man in the business. This true?
Well, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't know. I know Haku. I like Haku a whole lot. In fact, I missed him yesterday. I missed him.
He terrified you, didn't he? Haku? Mike? Wasn't that
me?
like,
Yeah.
didn't you see him at a bar or something and like you went to talk to him and he was like,
Yeah, he wasn't
get
very nice.
away!
I was in the military. I was a young guy, and I ran into him at a bar with a couple of the other guys. We were at a cart or something, and I saw him. I'm like, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" He looked at me like he was going to bite my face off. I'm like, I'm out of here. He might have been the biggest guy I've ever seen in my life.
Haku, I was there at the time when he got in the fight with J.J. Funk, Jesse Barr.
Okay.
And he ripped Jesse's eye out. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
No.
Yeah, and he felt really bad about it. He started crying. So I mean, he's a very emotional guy. He's got a big heart.
Did they put his eye back in?
Yeah, they got Jesse's eye back in. He could see okay, but he pulled it out. I mean,
my
it was
God.
like this
How
little
on
string
earth?
dangling.
Oh my God!
And that's when he was J.J. Funk with Dory Funk.
Now I heard Jesse Barr was a little bit of an asshole back then. Is that true?
No,
He was a good guy.
He was a good guy. Good amateur wrestler. His dad, Jesse Barr, or Sandy Barr, helped me a lot in the business. Just with me personally, he was always a great guy.
Good. Okay, good.
How about some WrestleMania 3 moment recollection for us? Can you tell us about WrestleMania 3 a little bit?
It's a sad thing to do, Farrell,
Thank you, sir.
because it's Hercules is dead.
Yeah.
And he died in a house that my wife at the time and I had sold him.
Really?
And
Okay.
and we were extremely close. He died in Tampa, and it was one of those things you don't expect.
Did he have drug issues, or was it just?
We all did.
Yeah.
We all had drug issues. Like I said last time, you know, Vince. No, I'm glad you brought that up too, because Vince has this wellness program. It's never Vince's fault about nothing.
Oh, no.
I mean, nothing is Vince's fault. We had a wellness program going on. Well, that's after about 17 guys died in a row. Now you got a wellness program. And he gave the drugs to the wrestlers without prescriptions, and as I did, as I told you before, with the cocaine, but the steroids, everything. So everybody became addicted to it. And then next, when you're addicted to drugs, you don't care about the 10 grand. You care about that drug. You want the drug.
What's
So
your
you
next
get a
fix?
chip to the hotel.
Yeah.
Right.
And next thing you know, Vince does have his thumb down on you because you work for him.
Do you think you would have been able to handle the grind without the drugs? Sometimes I
no.
wonder if it was like you had to have the drugs to even handle the grind.
No. And Jake Roberts,
No.
anybody, I was glad to see Diamond Dallas Page is a first-class guy. The way he hung in there with Jake the Snake and helped him. And I knew Diamond Dallas Page back in 1989.
He helped your friend Scott Hall too.
Yeah, he's just a great guy. And I, in fact, I'm the one, I'm sure Diamond will tell you this, I told him, I said, why don't you be a wrestler instead of being a manager?
Okay.
And he took that advice. And
Yeah.
he come up with a diamond cutter and all that, and married a beautiful wife. And then Mike Awesome, who he had his very first match with me in Tampa in I think it was 89. And Mike ended up being, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, big man ever in the history.
He is so underrated. The things he could do.
My God.
They do it now and they just take it for granted. He's the template for the big man flying around, plus the power. That guy could do everything.
Did you see him walk up? One time he had a guy, he walked up to the turnbuckle to the very top of the... I had never
Didn't he
seen
do like a
anybody do
rolling,
it.
it's like a rolling senton with the top rope or something? He did something crazy. Yeah, he was great. He was underrated.
He's another person that passed away from
underrated.
suicide.
And then there's another guy. He hung himself. So obviously he had a bad case of CTE. And when's the last time Vince McMahon checked for CTE? By the way, 2007. Our attorneys have checked. We have to fight like hell just to check. There's 60-some guys on the lawsuit. 7 wrestlers have died. All 7 have CTE. So why can't every wrestler be checked like they're supposed to be? Chris Harvard got a bunch of money from Vince on a lawsuit for a concussion. They should check every wrestler who dies. Should be mandatory that they check the brain of every wrestler.
On the subject of CTEs, how does Billy Jack feel about ECW, which was built upon chairs over the skull, kendo sticks over the skull? How do you feel about Paul Heyman's ECW?
I personally liked it. I mean, I
Yet they all probably have the symptoms you're speaking of, but you still approve of ECW. Interesting.
Well, I liked it just because it was
great to the viewer.
I like the violence of boxing and wrestling. That's just me. I like the believability. I don't like anybody say, "Hey, you're fake."
You ever come across Paul Heyman in person?
Oh yeah.
Thoughts on Paul Heyman? Good guy.
He's treated me good.
Excellent.
Billy, before Farrell mentioned WrestleMania 3, I want to talk about an event that doesn't get a lot of pop with even the new generation knows it, the older generation does. The big event in Canada, which I think drew over 70,000 people.
What year was that, Mike?
I think it's like 86. You wrestled Hercules again.
Nice.
How was the feeling about that event? It rivaled WrestleMania at the point, right?
That was a big crowd.
God, you brought back something I forgot about.
A lot of people forget about that card.
It was a tremendous card. I don't know who promoted it, but in Canada, but yeah, there was 70-some thousand people.
Wow.
And it was right up there with WrestleMania 3. And it was great to be in that card, and I did wrestle Hercules. And
is he your favorite opponent all the time? If you had to pick one guy to be in the ring with, Hercules?
Yeah, if I had to, would be Rick Rude and Hercules Hernandez.
Thoughts on Rick Rude? One of my all-time favorites. Just
the best, probably charismatic. Reminded me a lot of Kurt Hennig. Kurt also had the charisma. You have to have the charisma, but he had it all, man. He had the body.
Oh, yeah.
He had the rap. He had the charisma. He could work. He had all four. You know, a lot of guys can get by with 2 assets. He had all 4. And when you got 4, you're going places, man.
If Billy Jack Haynes could have been the heel that he revealed last interview with us that he wanted to be, who would Billy Jack's dream manager be?
Probably been Bobby Heenan. You know,
Bobby the Brain.
Bobby the Brain. I love Bobby. Just a great guy. Absolute great.
So he's the no-brainer for you, Bobby the Brain.
Yeah.
Nice.
I want to go back to WCCW. I'm on a big Von Erichs kick. Can you talk about all the Sons and their problems and how you felt if things didn't end up the way they did, where they could have been?
Wow.
I mean, look, great, all of them great wrestlers.
Oh yeah,
made huge differences in the world of professional wrestling.
Obviously.
Thoughts on the Von Erich boys? And everybody always says David was the best. What are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, David was the best, and Terry was second. When I first got there in January of 1984, Bill Apter, Gordon Soley, Eddie Graham, George Neapolitano, everybody had heard about me in Oregon, and at that time I had legitimate 21.5-inch arms on steroids, of course, and I could do the Chinese splits.
Oui.
And so right away they wanted to push me, and I was doing other things. I was dealing cocaine, so I wasn't even thinking about being a world champion or anything like that. So what ended up happening is George Neapolitano and Bill Apter got me and Terry Von Erich on like 10, 15 front covers together, and then I get up to 20, 30 front covers, and I don't know how many front covers I signed yesterday. I never even knew existed. And then they have me as the sexiest wrestler of the year, if you can believe that.
You like them apples.
Oh, you were pretty sexy back then, bro.
Yeah, right. Well,
Pat Patterson says you were pretty hot.
He says that now.
Well, coming from him, it's...
Welcome to Bend Overs, pushing your stool?
Real compliment.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I like to push him over and, ram a railroad track up his ass.
You're going to hit that high note yet, huh? Ooh.
Well, he sings soprano, I can guarantee you that.
Did Fritz push the boys too hard, or do you think the boys were just the boys?
Well, Fritz trained Bruiser Brody too, so a lot of people don't know that. And like I told you before, Brody was supposed to be going in against Hulk, and Hulk was terrified of him.
Yeah.
And
too bad. We really missed out on an amazing program there. Brody versus Hogan.
Yeah, but Hogan was, I don't know, he liked to control things, and he would have never, I can guarantee you, never controlled Bruiser Brody.
Right.
Bruiser Brody would have made Hulk into jelly, and Vince knew it, I think. And
right. And, Vince didn't feel safe with the matchup either then.
Yeah,
not just
I didn't
Hogan.
like the way he died in Puerto Rico.
Who would?
I thought he was murdered, and I know, well, he was murdered, but I thought he was paid. I thought McMahon actually paid, and still to this day, I think McMahon paid the Puerto Ricans to kill him.
Something smells about the whole thing.
And I'm not afraid to say it. And if people don't like it,
oh well.
Fuck you.
Oh well.
What is Jeannie's thoughts on Chris Adams? How was their relationship?
Chris was a great guy, but when he drank, he would get violent. And that's how I ended up with Jean, because Jean was walking down in the pouring down rain, and I told her to come in the car, and she had been, and you know, listen, Chris Adams, a great guy, judo expert, all that, but when he drank, he was violent, and she got slapped in the face, was all swelled up, and I told her she could stay at my place, and he was going to Japan, so when she went to Japan, she was going to have to go back to England when he got back. So I said, listen, if you marry me, you can stay here. Do you want to stay here? She goes, yes. I said, then let's get married. We got married February 9th, 1983 in Roseburg, Oregon. And then when Chris Adams comes back, he goes, I want my wife, okay, you're headed back to England. And I said, don't talk to my wife that way. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
And Chris is like, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, she's my wife now. And,
Surprise.
It's like,
surprise.
Did you love her though, or was it just a friendship?
I loved her as a friend. No,
Okay.
no, there was no, it wasn't.
I'll tell you what, though, you were like her knight in shining armor under those circumstances. She was clearly unhappy with what was going on. You took her out of that, so.
Yeah, we have a special relationship.
Yeah.
She is just an absolute, and I mean it. I mean, superwoman.
Can I? From the 2 interviews I get, it seems like you're a gentleman that tries to always do the right thing, and you just don't like getting shit on.
That's fair.
I don't know really who my biological dad is, but the dad who raised me was, yesterday I seen Outback Jack. Now Outback Jack is just like the father who raised me. He's totally blind now. He lost a leg with juvenile diabetes. Well, my dad had juvenile diabetes when he was 13. He lost his sight, fully blind, and lost his leg. So I was very defensive against my dad. I don't know how many fights I got in over that. You know, with police, everybody. I mean, protecting my dad. I was very overprotective. When you're abused when you're a kid, when you grow up, you become overprotective. Anybody abused will tell you that, or they're just kind of keeping it in, don't want to bring it out.
Right.
But when I seen him yesterday, it broke me down, man. Bad. I had to go in the back.
Eric, shall we summon ESS?
You coming in real quick? Let's promote what you got going on.
All right.
Is
Just
that
get on
Eric-
the microphone.
Eric
Ladies and gentlemen,
Do you know Eric Sims?
He's the man.
Not according to
I
Kevin
gotta
Nash.
take
He's
these
not.
for him. Get him.
Don't stop.
30,000.
Kevin Nash.
Not according to Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
ES, it's your cult hero. It's ESS.
Okay, he's in character now. Here we
All
go.
right.
What's up, Eric? What you got going on, big guy?
Well, the final day of the tour is today, and
Right.
we have one more stop. We're going to be at the Wrestling Universe in Queens, New York.
Okay.
And Billy Jack's going to be there. Disco Inferno's going to be there. Who will be our
Hey, Scott Hall's gonna be there.
Scott Hall will
Get
be
the
there.
cameras ready, brother.
Jimmy Hart will be there. Great Sasuke is going to be there from Japan.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
He did the tournament of survival down for
Sure.
Game Changer last night. Let's see what else. Who else is going to be there?
Puma.
Kenta Hideo Itami's going to be there.
Puma
Okay.
King.
Puma King's everywhere. We know
Who?
that.
Puma King.
Your favorite, Puma King.
Puma King?
Come on. I heard the mask is on the way in the
The
mail.
fuck is a Puma?
I don't know.
Actually, he's a pretty.
I heard it's a shoe.
So Eric, we got about 2 minutes.
Oh.
So at the end of yesterday's show, Scott Hall said Kevin Nash not a big fan of yours, and you know
Right.
he pretty much dealt with you. You got any return comments for
Tell
that?
us the story. Tell us the story, Eric.
Okay, so 2010, 12 range. I was using Kevin Nash and putting him in a lot of different, for different promotions. I think on one of the trips, he stressed me out so badly that I got Bell's palsy. Now, let me put on record. I don't want to say that he caused my Bell's palsy because we don't know what causes Bell's palsy, but they say wind, they can say stress, whatever. So he did. He put me under some stress. I could have had some stress from the house, the workplace, maybe all combined. A little combination of everything was the the stress of dealing with whatever. So
Yeah, but he triggered it. Go on.
probably, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, just,
who knows? But
Okay.
for the sake of this interview, yes. Whatever. So when I was working with X-Pac, and I kind of mentioned that to him. So of course he accidentally stooged it off to Nash.
Uh-oh.
and I kind of got a phone call. I kind of got berated for.
You got berated
by Kevin Nash because it was right before
for blaming him for Bell's palsy.
You got berated for your symptom being triggered by
for accusing him of causing my Bell's palsy.
Oh, I see.
Okay, and I'd say it may be partially his fault. Now I want to say not all his fault, but it partially his fault. Okay. If I have to pass a blame somebody, because who the fuck knows what what triggers it? But they say stress. So I was under undue stress over one of my my tours with him, and I told that to X-Pac, and then right before another tour with Nash, I just got lambasted by him on the phone, just berating me for an hour on the phone. I'm not coming, but I don't want to hurt the sponsor. Typical workers bullshit. And no matter what I said, it just got worse and worse and worse.
Right.
So long story short, he came in, he did the appearances together, but he wouldn't travel with me. So he rented his own vehicle. See, he showed up at the shows. We did business with each other.
Right.
Okay.
You tolerated each other.
See
you later, bye.
It was awkward, but we were professional and did business in the public eye. We did that, and then just.
But this was no Billy Jack experience. This guy, no, definitely not.
And well, don't get me going there.
Yeah.
But it just was kind of awkward.
Yeah.
We kind of down the road we kind of made peace.
You're giving me Bell's palsy.
Yeah,
let's
a
go
little
through
bit.
the.
We kind of made peace, and then once back in 2014 when my daughter
Stop.
In 2014 when my daughter was born, he wiped the slate clean. I can't pick on you anymore. I can't do anything.
Did he send you a gift?
You're a father now.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And every time we see we shake hands. It's like, how's your daughter? This and that. So it's like it's cool.
Dance to it's all good.
We're cool. Now remember, in the wrestling business, there's marriages and divorces. Sometimes you're married to people. Sometimes
needless to say, you're divorced from Kevin Nash.
No. I mean, if I have,
we're civil.
You're separated.
You're separated. What is going
on
here?
Currently, I don't have a spot, but if one opens up, I'm willing to do business.
I'm sure.
And he's cool. He'll talk to me on the phone.
I'm sure.
I mean, in 2015 or so, we did a big NWO thing with Hall, Nash, X-Pac.
I know.
We did Allentown. We did we did up here in Long Island. Another stop in Long Island up here. Yeah, so it's like we did. I went through.
That stop has since been converted to a sump. Go on. You were saying?
It went fine. I can't.
Except that 14 people had food poisoning.
I got sick.
Yeah.
I got sick, but let's not go there.
C is in crust.
I can't go there.
Listen, we'll see you on the next episode, which is like 2 minutes from now. But Billy,
he'll be back. Mr. Haynes,
thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And again, you got us off the ground, and you're definitely one of my favorites growing up, and you're definitely one of my favorite people present day in my life. So thank you again for spending your time here. We are honored.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Monty and the Pharaoh.
Thank you.
These fights may stem some to be who's the
can we
be this owner's got lots of money. We might have to set it up.
Can we be in your corner?
I got something to say.
Can we be in your corner?
Listen, Rob Feinstein's helping me, but you know what?
I'd love to be in the corner.
I do not mind at all. I would be honored.
That would be awesome.
I'd be honored to be in your corner.
I love the Monty and the Pharaoh show.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to be one of the few agents that actually you guys like to work with and actually do things the right way.
Thank you.
Instead of maybe one or two of the others that kind of don't do things the right way.
There's no BSS
in ESS.
With ESS, and I
love it's only one S, but you're right.
But I love putting in the extra S. It's like KISS.
All right.
You wanted the best. You got the best.
You're up there. You're gonna be signing autographs. You'll do well, and if something goes on between you and Scott before this even thing gets going, this would be pretty hot. Who knows? You could be calling in right now.
I have no issues with Scott. I'm not talking
about you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He does.
I'm sorry.
This should get out before.
Eric, you should be listening.
Let's get the checklist. Let's take a hand.
Maybe we'll keep them in separate. They're going to be in two different buildings. They may be in two different buildings.
He's going to fight them all on the same night?
No. He's going to take care of Hannibal.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That's his priority first.
Scott Hall,
and then
Scott Hall's on the back burner for now.
And then the final, we'll finish up with Lesnar.
Hey, we're gonna have to
Yeah,
talk about that
Lesnar.
one.
People think, oh, you won't be able to take Lesnar. I'll be 10-1 underdog. No, well, it'll probably be 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds. And I will knock him out.
Nice.
Listen, if you go through Hannibal, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash, my money's on you for
Yeah, well,
Lesnar
really,
too.
at that point, it better be.
I can show you a few things. I'm not going to do it. It's just the point is that I'm not going to give away any of my holding cards. But I got power in both hands, and I've had it in the past, always have. And I should have been a pro boxer. Ended up in pro wrestling, and ended up in a pretty weird field of cocaine. So.
Well, the challenge is out there, so let's see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, we want to thank Billy Jack Haynes and ESS Promotions for another wonderful event over here at Monty DeFaro.
May I plug the website?
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly.
For all the upcoming events of ESS Promotions, it's www.esspromotions.com, and all the catchphrases, and I'll give you a new one: business and success, and then ESS.
All right, and with that, this has been another special episode of Monty and DeFaro. Catch us every Thursday from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Fans, don't forget, Billy Jack Haynes, we're waiting on Hannibal's response. That's round 1. Have a good day.
Stay tuned for Disco Inferno.